And welcome to Equal Hope, the podcast. I'm Dana Devine, your host. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about health disparities. Health disparities, and particularly breast cancer survivorship and how community health workers really make a difference in cancer screenings and detection. I'd like to introduce my guest for today. Her name is Tracy Kincaide. She's a singer, songwriter, actress, and an author. Super talented, right here from Chicago, and she is a breast cancer survivor. Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Dana, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for making time to make a difference because your testimony might be the most important thing you ever share. So, thank you so much, Tracy. We're going to get right into it, Tracy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll keep going from there.
Well, as you guys, Dana has said, I am a singer, songwriter, author, producer, all those amazing things. But I am a two-time breast cancer survivor, and I am just happy to be here today to share my story with you. I'm a grandmother. I'm recently widowed, so yeah, I got some things coming up.
Uh, well, you said something very, very striking. You're not a one-time survivor. You are a two-time breast cancer survivor. Let's get into that a little bit. Tell us about your journey. When were you diagnosed? How was the cancer found? The stage you were in, and your status currently? Take
Well,
your time.
I'm
Take your time.
all right. I'm gonna take my
That
time
was
with
a
this one,
lot.
honey, because it's quite extensive. In 2009, I was diagnosed with stage two invasive ductal carcinoma. I actually did find the lump myself. It had been a considerable amount of time before I actually went to have my breast examined. And it was due to a broken ankle that really prompted me to go head on and have it done. So I asked my orthopedic specialist if he would help me schedule an appointment for a mammogram. And he asked me the question. He said, "Well, why do you need a mammogram?" I said, "Because I found a lump." And that's when things got rolling in 2009. I had a lumpectomy at the time. I had chemotherapy, eight radical rounds of chemotherapy, and probably there were 40 some rounds of radiation and a after treatment drug, tamoxifen, which I was able to tolerate for about 2.5 years. Thought everything was okay. I was recovering, and going on with my life. And I think in 2013, I met a group of women called the Butterflies, got with a support group, Tasha Joyner Foundation, where I actually met Dana Divine. And I was going for my annual screening in 2013, and there was a calcification found. So that was a really big scare. So fortunately, at the time, it was benign, and that kind of gave me a little bit of hope that I wasn't having a recurrence or anything like that. We went on, and then in 2020, there was another incident with a calcification, and that was in both were in the left breast. That was benign as well. But somewhere down the line, I was told that I had dense breast, but I didn't really know what that meant. So it was like, okay, dense breast, what does that really mean? And is there anything I need to do about it? So I really didn't know. It wasn't that really explained to me like what that really meant to my journey and what in my situation. So I didn't really investigate a lot about dense breast. However, in 2023 annual exam, and before then, I had a pain in my arm, which prompted me. I kind of wanted to tell them about that pain because it was very, it was severe to me at the time, but it didn't last long. But it was enough for me to remember and kind of like say, I need to let them know that that happened to me. So it was on my left side, on my left arm, but I told my tech that it was under the pit of my arm, the pain. And that raised some red flags. I was due for diagnostics, but they were not going to do an ultrasound on me. They didn't see any reason to do an ultrasound on me. I was getting ready to put my clothes on to go home to be told again for another year that I was cancer free. But because of the pain and me saying it was in the pit of my arm, the red flags were raised. They decided to do an ultrasound. They went and they were looking under my lymph nodes to see if there was anything, anything detected. They didn't find anything, didn't see nothing at all suspicious. But she went on down the side of my breast, actually on the side where I had that second calcification. And that's where the miracle happened. They saw a spot. Yeah. So I
Wow.
had to have that biopsy, of course. And when it came back positive for breast cancer, only to find out that it wasn't even a recurrence. It wasn't the same type of cancer. It was a totally different type of cancer. And it was the type that it was lobular, invasive lobular carcinoma, which it says that it's in the fat. It's where it's in the fatty part of the tissue rather than where the other was in the duct, which is easier to detect. But this particular cancer was more difficult to detect, which made me have to go get further testing. So I had to go and get an MRI, which found even more cancer in that breast. So
Was this
at
the same? This is the same as the first breast. This is
No,
a different breast.
different breast. So the
Mm.
right breast I had a lumpectomy. My
Mm.
left breast I had, and that was ductile. In my left breast, it was lobular, and there was over 6 centimeters of cancer that was growing in my breast over I don't know how long, because I had been told year after year that I was cancer free, and they found 6 centimeters of cancer in that breast. But of course, I had to have that breast removed. So yeah, I had to have it
Mm.
removed.
So a lumpectomy on one, and mastectomy on the other side.
Mastectomy and the other, yes.
Okay. Okay. And the mastectomy is recent, right, Tracy?
Yeah, actually, I had it November 1st of 2023. So I'll be celebrating 2 years come this November, November 1st.
Woo, 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 woo. You know,
And
you
I was
said
fortunate, Dana. I was fortunate with that. God is good. It was
mhm,
a stage 1, so I didn't have to have radiation or chemotherapy this time around.
early detection,
So
early
I'm grateful.
detection.
Early detection, yes, and the mercies and the grace of God, because that was a long time for that cancer to be growing in my breast undetected. That's unacceptable. And
Mm.
I told my physicians that that was unacceptable. You
And what
know,
did they say?
they totally agreed. They were really just kind of like lost for words and just really trying to comfort me and making sure that further moving forward that they are doing everything and anything that it takes to make sure that they don't miss anything in this body. And
And it
then
doesn't happen.
recently I just heard last year I just read about it that um the legislation has changed and the law has changed where women can now who have dense breasts be looked at with an MRI or M something something. I think that's like a 3D
3D
screening
imaging.
and getting an MRI if you have been told that you have dense breasts. So that is a plus. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother podcast, dense breast, and
Yes.
understanding when you have been labeled with dense breast, how
Yes.
sometimes you need to dig a little deeper with this
A
this
lot deeper. Yeah.
a lot
Sooner
deeper. Yeah,
than later. Yeah.
yeah. You said earlier, like the first time, you said a considerable amount of time had gone by
Yes.
before you went the first time. Why was that, Tracy?
I
Because
was living life. I wasn't sick. I didn't feel any discomfort, anything like that. And I don't know if well, I think there was some fear, but I didn't acknowledge it at the time. I think there was a little bit of fear. Also, at the time, I was underinsured. As a matter of fact, I didn't have any health insurance. I knew how to go to the clinics and get done what I need to get done, but I didn't have any insurance at the time. I was an independent contractor. You know how that goes sometimes. And you making money, you gotta pay for everything, and you get afraid. I'm gonna have this hospital bill, this doctor bill, whatever, and I put it off like a lot of women are doing and have done. And I'm encouraging you not to do that because I do believe, Dana, had I gone when I first found the lump, I maybe could have avoided chemotherapy and radiation. It may not have been a stage 2 and had already spread it outside the duct. So that could change the trajectory of, the journey if you do things accordingly, the right way for yourself. And that's early detection. Like we said, early detection save lives. And it's a true
and
thing. Or it can save you a lot of headache anyway.
that's for sure. And here I'm gonna pivot just a little because and we're gonna move into this. Tracy said that a lot of times we are scared and fearful to move because we are basically uninsured, underinsured, maybe just unsure, which is what we specialize in at Equal Hope. If you're underinsured, uninsured, or just unsure, and you know you need a mammogram, please give us a call. We are there to support you. We have a Latina navigation team. We are there to help you live. Now, I'm going to bring Tracy Kincaide back on the screen because she knows all about Equal Hope. And so,
We
Tracy, let's pivot here. And I know I knew you before you used Equal Hope, but now that you have joined the Equal Hope family, let's talk about the services that you were able to receive from Equal Hope.
Well, first, I would like to say I'm just grateful that Equal Hope exists. I was partnered with Equal Hope through my organization, Forever Hope Agency. They came out to my events and signed women up for screening. So I'm just grateful that they came into my community for me even to know about them. So they are doing their job. Thank you, Equal Hope, for that. But I also have set on the side of having full coverage insurance. I'm getting paid a decent amount of money to take care of my health needs. And then one day I found myself not having that insurance. And that can happen to anybody, anytime. And pride is not your
Mhm.
friend. You find yourself in a situation where you don't have insurance. Let me tell you something, honey. Equal Hope is there for you, just like they have been there for me. I was in need of of my mammograms, my annual screening. And this is after my diagnosis. Equal Hope was there for me to help me get those mammograms that I needed, to help me get to that biopsy that I needed, because there was something found in my breast, which thank God at that time it was benign, but at least I was able to get that service done through Equal Hope before, and so I'm really grateful for that. And so I always say Equal Hope saved my life. So, not only that, this second time around, I had to I was able to lean. And I mean, when I tell you I was weak, I was worn, I was
Lean.
tired, and I was
Yeah.
able to lean on Equal Hope and burn their ears up, and have that patient navigator to listen to me, to listen to my problems, to try to soothe me, to try to find me the help that I needed. And what I needed from them at the time was that support. I needed that sisterhood, and they gave that to me. They gave me the paint parties, and those things like that, and transportation to and from my doctor's appointments. It just took a lot of stress and a lot of burden off of me, just having that service provided to me by Equal Hope.
So they picked you up.
They picked me. Listen, honey, I had limousine service, is what I call it. They picked me, they sent me a car to my home to pick me up, to take me to my appointment, and to return to pick me up to bring me back to my home. So, yes.
And I,
And hold
yeah.
on.
And you
And
ladies,
if I needed them to go with me to my appointment, they were readily available to go and hold my hand, and be there for me through my appointments as well. Yes, ma'am.
now that's pretty that's big for sure because you're scared and and how many women miss appointments because they can't get there and you
Absolutely.
know you have a chemo appointment or whatever exam and you can't get there, so then you miss your chemo appointment and then that changes your prognosis for survival because of one, two or three missed
One
appointments because
miss
you
appointment.
the money to get there. So Equal Hope, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. We do our job, and I love working there because of the
They
work we do and how we support women. And I'll just pause here and say, listen, you guys, there are lots of ways to support Equal Hope. We are having a benefit June 5th, and you are more than welcome to come out and find out our services in person. We would love to have you there. However, you can donate to Equal Hope. It's very, very simple. And you have to know that your donations go directly to support services for women. They don't go for administrative costs. They support women, getting mammograms, getting to the mammogram, getting the mammogram post-op diagnosis. Tracy, let me ask you this. Do you still use services from Equal Hope?
Right now to this day, yes. Um, you know, I look good. I thank God that I look good. I'm 60 years old. I'm grateful for that. I do a lot of things, but we're starving artists, and sometimes we just need a little help, need a little boost. My husband has been in the hospital. He had an amputation. He was in a rehab facility. I tore our car up trying to get to Dana on a different situation. And I just needed some help. I really did. I didn't have the finances that I was accustomed to having, and I was alone. I was in my home for 4 months without my husband. So
Mm,
everything was like on me, and Equal Hope was there for me. They helped get me to my, like I said, they got helped me get to my appointments. They are still doing that right now today. Unfortunately, I lost my husband in January the 4th. And so that's a whole nother dynamic to my journey. And I really needed their support. And they have been there for me even right now to this day. Yes, Equal Hope is still
mm,
providing me with services to this day. Yes.
Thank you, Tracy, for I'm telling you, your testimony is strong, strong. So, in what ways has your experience motivated you to share your story with others and help them in some way?
Well, I'm a giver. I love community. I love people, and I know that there is a lot of information that I have gained in my journey that I didn't know, and I know I'm not the only one that
Mm,
need this information. And so I'm just encouraged to take um I don't gonna call it my weakness, but take my weakness and turn it into a strength to give back to the community and to women who may have been in the same situation that I've been in, that I found myself in. I don't want any woman to have to go through that. And so I'm just willing to share my story, my testimony in any kind of way and anywhere that I can.
I
Yeah.
love it. And so, what do you think is the most important message for others who are thinking about reaching out for support but are unsure or hesitant, Tracy? And there's a
I,
lot of folks. Somebody watching right now is like, I feel something. What are you going to tell them?
I just feel like, first of all, put pride behind you. Fear is not your friend. The number is there. Reach out. You never know what's on the other side of that line. Everything that's on the other side of that line, from my experience, is positive. It's going to
Mm,
help you. It's going to help you survive. It's going to help you thrive. And it is going to help you recover. And so whatever you need, I mean, it may be something, it may not. You need to know. Don't be afraid to know. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid because you are lacking. That's why Equal Hope is here to
mm,
help. And so take the help, because it's no excuse for any woman not to get screened, not to get their mammograms, not to get to their appointments, not to have somebody to talk to. It's just no excuse. And so I just encourage you to take that first step, and that is dial that number, and you will be so happy that you
yeah.
did.
Yeah, you really will find out. You'll sleep better at night knowing
Just
knowing the truth about anything, about any and everything. So don't deny, verify. I want to thank you,
verify.
Tracy, in such a big way, for being our guest and sharing your testimony. I know someone heard you, and hopefully you've given somebody unction to move forward and just take control of their health. Again, the
Just
numbers on the
don't wait.
don't wait. Numbers on
Don't
the
wait.
screen, 312-942-3368. We have a Latina navigation team. If you want to just donate to Equal Hope and make a difference, it's good. It's good trouble to get in. Give us just go to equalhope.org /donate and make a difference in the world today. That's some good news and good advice for somebody. Meet me back
Yeah.
here next month. I promise to be back with all the best and great information. And again, if you need breast or gynecological care or need a primary care appointment, Equal Hope, we got you. Thank you again, Tracy Kincaide. I hope the blessings. Where can we find you coming up? You're in what movie are you going to be in?
So, no movie right now, but we are. I am in a production called Season. There are 5 episodes that are now streaming on Tubi. You will find me there. I am one of the main characters. I am Faith. We are working on some music. Now we're gonna be getting ready to do a music video coming up in June in May. Yeah, coming up in May because we've already cut the song. It's "Don't Count Me Out," so you can look for that coming up soon. Hopefully, some other things will come up. I promise you, I will keep you guys posted. You can find me on Facebook at Tracy Kincaide, YouTube, or you can visit my website at tracyrkincaid.com. Yes, and thank you.
And thank
And
you.
download my music, honey. Download my music on all streaming platforms.
All skinny. And while you're there, make sure you follow our podcast and never miss another episode. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. See you back here next time. And you may the rest of your day be the best of your day. Don't deny, verify, early detection saves lives.